great leaders, very thoughtful ones, to kind of address to issues, to some problems, to some great topics that can actually influence you professionally and personally. Like all of us know, it is all about being relevant to realities. And all of us know that we all together are fighting a common crisis. It's been a tough road for all of us, isn't it? And all of us are actually putting up a big fight together. So ladies and gentlemen, while each one of you do that in your own stride, I'm only hoping that we at AsiaOne have been able to add some value to all your lives, could it be personally or could it be professionally. While we bring you this great knowledge series in the digital world, in the virtual world, we are also proud to share with you that how the Greatest Brand and Leader series, the television series on CNBC TV 18, has really gathered a great response. Not only that, we are also available on News 24 in Bangladesh. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are going to be showing you a promo of CNBC TV 18. And also, you will see this wonderful television series, Greatest Brands and Leaders, in entire Middle East and North Africa on Zee TV, and that's where we have collaborated. So isn't it all amazing that we are there in India on CNBC TV 18, in Bangladesh on News 24, and of course in the Middle East and North Africa on wonderful Zee TV. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be leaving you with an amazing promo on CNBC TV 18 right here, Greatest Brands and Leader 2019-2020. Let's have the promo, please.
Greatness is defined by the leaders who wield it. A brand is a culmination of groundbreaking ideas and impeccable execution. URS AsiaOne presents Greatest Brands and Leaders 2019-20. At these times,
Well, that was, our television series, Greatest Brands and Leaders 2019-2020 on CNBC TV 18 every Saturday 4 p.m. With that, ladies and gentlemen, now let's come back to this wonderful topic that we have today, very, very wisely and thoughtfully chosen. Yes, we talk about mind over matter, the power of mind to sail through every adversity. Friends, while all of us are still kind of dealing with this entire unknown enemy and crisis, we are kind of, trying to understand and bring out a formula to deal with life and how life is going to be post-COVID. We are trying to tie our seatbelts really tight as we approach to life in an all new outlook and manner. There is so much that is going through our head, our mind, and our thoughts. And while we really, really put up a brave heart, a brave soul out there, we're already been hearing from the mental experts that there is another pandemic that is just going to dawn upon us. Yes, we're talking about mental illness, mental health. Unquote, quote, ladies and gentlemen, they're actually hearsing all the time that yes, there are mental health warnings throughout the population. I mean, talking about the VUCA word, it actually stands right into our face. It is bogging us down. And still we are trying to put up a great, great physical and mental being. Yes, repercussions regarding this entire crisis, ladies and gentlemen, is really, really posing a problem to people today and beyond. I mean, there's so much that has changed, from that added fear of contracting the virus, which now is in stigma. There is so much more. Our lives, our daily routines, everything have come to a standstill. There's so much that's happening around in our lives, that which is the very base of having a great mental health. Talking about losing our jobs, business recessions, temporary unemployment, like I just made a mention of, and work actually coming to home and schooling children from home. Look at how life has changed 360 degrees for all of us. So much of adversities, and we thought at AsiaOne, then why not? Why not, ladies and gentlemen, this time, actually address what is more pertinent for all of us to mitigate us through these tough times, to these negative times. Today, we are joined by some eminent personalities who are vivacious. Their very energy is infectious. They are radiating with optimism. I just had a talk, and I'm sure they do have their own bit of struggles, but still they are right there to tell us about their struggles and tell us how they are dealing it all with it. Yes, it's now time to delve into some great minds. We have here with us, the woman I simply love the most, because every time she's been with us on Web Talk series, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, the next couple of months have been just wow. Just thinking about her and the kind of energy that you draw from her is simply outstanding. It is infectious. Yes, I'm talking about Padma Shri, wonderful, wonderful, the legendary singer from the Indian film industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Usha Uttup. How are you doing, ma'am? Let me say a big hello to you once again. Could you just unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm so happy to be with you one more time, and which is why I always say Namaskar, Namaskaram, Sat Sri Akal, Salam Alaikum to all of you. Thank you, AsiaOne, and thank you, you beautiful lady, for introducing me so fantastically, and even talking before, whatever you spoke before, was the introduction to the discussion today. It's absolutely fantastic. And actually, it's a huge, when you said pandemic, I thought, oh God, what is she going to talk about? But actually, it's so true what you said. And we all have our ways of, of dealing with this, But I must say that for everything that people talk about, this mental thing about being depressed and being miserable, and I don't know, it's all of you around me. It's actually the people around me and my audiences. I've been singing now for 50 years, and for these 50 years, it's the audiences that have really kept me going like this. So really, I've been blessed with a feeling that, nothing, thank you, that nothing should really, really put you down unless it's God. I mean, I'm like a tennis ball. The harder you throw me down, the bigger the bounce back. And truly, it's been these past, but the crying is out of joy. I mean, not necessarily joy. There's grief and sadness and everything that is mixed with the fact that we can deal with it. That we can deal with it if we really want to. If we really want to, because it truly is mind over matter. It truly is. There are moments in my life when I say, everything has changed and everything is going to change as far as the entertainment world is concerned. Truly, I mean, you all talk about corporates, you all talk about the economy, this, that, and the other, but the entertainment business. I mean, we need audiences. We need, for me, I need musicians. I need an audience. Without an audience, I'm not one of those singers who can just sing for herself and be happy. No, I'm a people's person, and I really need people. And so to be, to be in a home and stuck with the fact that you can't really go out, it could work very badly on you if it weren't a person like myself. And this I say because I have the Ashirvadam and blessings of everybody, previous meetings with you, that really I treat and it's been the same in the beginning of the lockdown, and it is now the same. I believe that every day should be treated as a normal day. If you don't look at it as a normal day, it's very difficult to deal with. There are moments in my life, the reason why I cry in the morning is because first of all, I say thank God that, we're all okay. Thank God. There's so much to be grateful for. Thank God we're all okay. Thank God we have a lovely home. Thank God we have a bed to sleep on. Thank God we have water. Thank God we have electricity. So many things, especially if you're in Calcutta. I mean, we had the Fund, where besides this COVID and everything, there's been the cyclone, and then there have been so many other little things that have been pulling us down, like it's happening everywhere else in Bombay as well. You've had the floods, you've had the rains. There's so many nasty things and think of all the wonderful people that are just dying. I mean, every single day there's somebody whom you love, somebody who has just passed away, just like that. But not all because of COVID, but still, the whole thing becomes bigger because it's this lockdown time. But because you know that you are part of a world that is suffering the same thing, we're all in it together. Otherwise, how would it be that you get such panels with such varied people, with such people who all have the same, I mean, we're all going through it the same way. You know, I don't have a single show, okay, but I'm doing at least 4 shows like I'm doing with you now in a day. I set up, I don't have a microphone, I don't have the mixer, I don't have amplifiers, nothing. I'm technically challenged and I get help from all of you, but I'm much better than the first time that I was with you. I at least know how to mute and unmute, and you know, I was laughing when our superstar was doing this, yeah, because I really didn't know a thing. And I'm so much better today. And so I think, you know, the wonderful thing about this whole lockdown has been that it's given me a chance to really connect with all of you. Otherwise, it's horrible to think that you can't, as an entertainer and as a person who's traveling almost you know, maybe 4, 5, 6 times in a month, maybe much more than that, actually. As my daughter says, you should have been an air hostess, a little bit on the fat side, but who cares? Yes, but it's really to be stuck at home like that. I don't even use a negative word like stuck at home, because truly, when my friends tell me, you should get out a little bit, just take a drive instead of being cooped up at home. Really, I tell you from deep within, I'm okay. I'm okay. And if you're okay, I'm okay. I get up in the morning early, 4:40, and then I get into, I've said it before, I'm saying it really helps. Then I also do the Mahamrityunjay. This is for everybody, not just for me, but generally. And then I do the Afat. I'm ready, absolutely ready for the day to go to the CCFC for a nice walk, and then realize that, hey, even today I realized, hey, after putting on my socks and shoes, I really say there is no club to go to. Even now, though 1 or 2 golf clubs have opened up and things like that, I don't think I want to get out of the house now, really, because I really think that it's up to us to get our mind over the matter. And truly, if we are all really responsible citizens, we wouldn't go out. We wouldn't. And unless it was absolutely necessary to go out, you know, you just take all the precautions and go out, because, you know, it's not fair. It's just not fair. It's not just you, it's the other person that's involved. And of course, I have a son at home who's going through dialysis. And so there is no way that I'm going to take a risk of doing that. But I'm happy. I don't feel like, oh, I'm such a martyr, you know, I have to do this and I have to do. I'm not like that. I'm really not like that. From deep within, I'm happy and grateful to God for giving me whatever He's given me, so much more than many other people who just looked around. And I think the best way to deal with it is to show that damn Corona, fed up of this bloody COVID everywhere, everywhere you look, that's all that people are talking about. And isn't that depressing? Why can't we talk about anything else? And if we have to talk about the Corona, why can't we talk? Actually, now I've even stopped looking at, you know, the news and all these things about 150 things on the telephone. What you should do sometimes, if you just put it on somewhere, they're talking about haldi, they're talking about methi, they're talking about salt, and they're talking about sof, and put it together. It almost sounds like a recipe for biryani. So that's a way of looking at it. Yeah, but it's good if you can get it. But yeah, don't get yourself down because of that. Don't. That things will never be the same again. It'll be better, maybe. Maybe we'll all be more responsible. Maybe we'll all be thinking human beings. But haven't we been doing this as Hindus or as Indians or whatever you make religion to talk about? But wasn't it taught to us beforehand to wash your hands everywhere before you touch anything, before you got into a kitchen, be clean, don't worry. You know, it's something our parents inculcated in us. So why are we panicking about it? And this stigma, for crying out loud, what is the stigma? You know, if you got the flu or if you got anything else, I mean, you got a fever, they don't treat you like that. Why all of a sudden this terrible thing that, oh, agar kuch ho, ye dar jo paida hua hai, it's terrible. It's terrible. And I'm a party to it myself. I can't say I'm not, because I am scared. I am scared. But God gives you the strength to deal with the strength. I mean, to deal with the fear. Because, you know, if you are fearful all the time, it can bring you down. And I promise you, I am scared of everything. I'm scared of the dark. I'm scared of flying. I'm scared of this. I'm scared. But it's your mind over matter. And I think that will really work if you are all positive. I know that one of the worst words today, the most negative word in the world is positive. So I don't want anybody to be positive. Just be optimistic. But it's never going to be the same.
Thank you, Usha ma'am. Thank you. See, ladies and gentlemen, we've just got started on this panel, and that's like a ball of energy back onto us, like she said.
Maybe we'll have to be happy with
it's like, you know, she's like a tennis
giving
ball.
you a word of you.
She's like a tennis ball. The harder you hit, and the harder she bounces back to you, and that's exactly the kind of spirit and life and soul Usha ma'am is. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for adding so much of optimism to the very beginning of this great topic, mind over matter. And with that, let me very quickly bring on our other panelists here before I get into the Q&A round with them. We're also joined by Dr. Hema Devakar, our chairperson artist. A big thank you, ma'am. And how are you doing, ma'am? Hope everything well, good at your end.
That's you brought the right mix of people together who are all like resilient, raving to go. Yes. And then we affirm that we are all crazy in a different way, and it's good to be like that, because that's the only way you can deal with this whole situation. And the word stress used to be a style statement for generation until very recently. I'm so stressed at work, I'm stressed at school. Everybody uses the word stress so casually that it has to be a part of their dialogue and their life. But now, when you say health is wealth, which I have said it many times, people look beyond the physical health and recognize that mental health is also a great part of your health, which is your wealth. And the real stress that we can see around, as Ushaji herself has admitted to two facts. One is how she has adapted and also told the truth that yes, any human being would be scared with so much uncertainty, because anytime anybody is in stress, there are some people around us who are in a better position to lend us the kind of support or to sail us through. Now, you're there everywhere. The situation is the same. So we need some of us like this to keep telling the others, let's get going. We will get our head down. Many, many things, inclusive of how Samirji said, the technology. Yes, now he's learned how to mute and unmute. And so that's the way we move along. And I think that, yes, we deal with the reality. We take whatever precautions that we need to take, but we move forward however swiftly that we can. And human race will also learn some lessons because of the speed breaker which has come in this lifetime. And I really think there are many silver linings, many take-home messages for ourselves, for our lives. And we say, thank you, COVID-19. You have taught us many things beyond what we could learn in the textbooks and from life itself.
Thank you, Dr. Reva. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we just got started, you can listen. I mean, you can hear that, that we have our, panelists here who talk about the sense of gratitude towards anything, for a matter of fact. And rather, this crisis itself today makes us feel like how important it was. I mean, health was somewhere right there, isn't it? And now it's kind of right there in the forefront, and we've realized how important and how valuable it is. With that, let me bring on and say a big hello to Mr. Samir Soni. Of course, all of us love him every time he's on the screen. He kind of not only entertains us, but he simply always, has been somebody who's been a part of our lives somewhere. And, of course, in the entertainment industry. So big hello to you, Samir, sir. How are you?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sunita, for having me. Go on.
Okay, with that also I couldn't say hello to Puneet sir here. So we've got Mr. Puneet Parashar, our Chief Happiness Officer. I'm kind of liking that.
I like that title.
Executive Officer, Chief Belief Officer. Now we've got this man right here, ladies and gentlemen, to make all of you happy. Chief Happiness Officer, and of course, founder of the Happier Being. So a big hello to you, Puneet sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, thank you so much. Big hello and such a powerful panel here, and so happy to be here at the start, feeling energies going all across. Though we are sitting at different location and interacting through screen, that's how the change we are incorporating, but yet we are connected, yet we are feeling the connection, yet we are feeling the meaning. Now that's happiness all about, when you feel connected with each other, when you feel the meaning of being connected with each other. And I hope that as we progress, we'll build more understanding to the science of happiness. Thank you so much, One Asia. And thank you so much, Sangeeta ji, for introducing me to the panel and being so vivacious, bringing up a lot of energies here. I was hearing Usha ji. I salute her the way she described how she is, coping up with the fears, coping up what she's going through. At her age, she's adopting the change. Now that's the essence of happiness. Thank you so much. Look forward to the session.
Thank you, Puneet.
Usha is always 16.
We just heard Archana saying that she's called the doll out there in her family. So yes, of course. So
she makes us look old. So.
So Puneet, so we're actually looking for to hear a lot from you on how we can be more happier beings. For that is the need of the hour. Let me bring in Archana ma'am, Archana Ranganathan, managing trustee, Divyam Foundation Educational Trust. A very warm and hearty welcome, ma'am, on the panel. And how are you doing, ma'am?
Good evening. I'm doing great. I'm doing fine, and we are all doing fine there. And thank you so much for this opportunity. Kadavulukku nandri, Irevanukku nandri, Anaivarukkum nandri. And it's a great opportunity. And we shall look forward to discussing more and have a lot of takeaways, and looking forward to give a lot to people. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Archana ji. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, while this is a knowledge series, let me tell you one wonderful lady who's always adding so much of beauty and vibrance to the panel always, and that is Miss Nisha Bhakur, Director of Nava Yoga World School. So a very warm and hearty welcome once again on Web Talk series, ma'am.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you so much. I don't know whether to feel embarrassed or feel good about it. But I think every woman loves to be called pretty. So thank you so much.
You are looking pretty.
If I'm looking pretty with no makeup, then I think I am pretty, I guess. With the lockdown. Last time I said I just got one lipstick, and I keep stealing the saris from here and there from my mom. but anyway, that's, I think, the beauty and the fun of what this pandemic has done to all of us. And thank you so much to AsiaOne magazine. I was sharing even last time. It's so interesting to see what a mix that you bring along together. And being from the education, we've only been hearing teachers and educators talk, and it does get monotonous at times. And this is such a nice platform to know how everybody else in the different fields is feeling and going about the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to some great discussion.
Thank you, Nisha ma'am. It's always wonderful to have you back with us. With that, let me introduce our wonderful, speaker who's here with us. And of course, the gorgeous one, Dr. Anjali Huda Sangwan, internal medicine, functional medicine co-founder and medical director, Live NutriFit. A very, very warm and hearty welcome, ma'am. It's wonderful to have you join in the Web Talks family.
Thank you so much. Thank you, AsiaOne, to have me on the platform with such esteemed guests. I'm not a person who goes on TV too much, but I see so many celebrities here. I hope I don't bore the hell out of you. Being a doctor and all that serious business, but then, we have people to sort of keep it neutral. So that's good.
Thank you. Thank you. We're looking forward to talk to you, ma'am. And then, of course, we have Arsha. And before I introduce her, ladies and gentlemen, I know I found somebody who just loves to talk, and we're going to talk a lot to her today. And yes, she is the co-founder and managing director, Learn to Lead Educational Services, Artha Creative Services, the Paper Elephant Homeschool. So a very warm and hearty welcome to you, Arshia. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing great, Sangeeta. Thank you for welcoming here, and thank you, AsiaOne. I love the panel, and like you rightly said, I think I started the whole panel by talking and talking. I was looking at everybody's screens, telling them how to click this and click that. But yes, and Samirji as well. So, but I'm hoping to give my 2 bits on how we are coping it on from the education front in terms of children, and how important, like everybody's talked about what they're feeling. Where I'm going to come in, I'm going to kind of talk about how it is very important to kind of train our children and mentor them from the time they are tiny, and help them cope up with things that they may face in the future. So I'm kind of going to come from that. Apart from that, before the end of the panel discussion, I would definitely ask Usha ji and Nisha ji to tell the rest of us what are the shampoos they use, and what is it that they do with their hair in the lockdown. But in spite of the lockdown and not going to the beauty parlors, that's what their hair looks like. So that's another thing that I would want to.
So, Arshia, what we're going to do, we're definitely going to have our next topic, which is going to be all about to you. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Gratitude to have some hair left.
Well, I don't mean to make you guys jealous, but I've shaved my head twice already. So.
Yeah, fantastic.
So, Arshia, could we have your mic to be on mute? And with that, Sameer, could I also request your mic as we start with the Q&A session? And yes, of course, I'm going to bring Usha Utupji back into the conversation as we get started. Ma'am, of course, you've spoken so much on how you're dealing with all. But I still, firstly, of course, a big thank you for again joining us. Thank you for your insightful talks. Thank you for all those uplifting songs that you've done for us on this particular webinar, making it so much more entertaining and energetic. With that, my question to you very quickly would be, ma'am, that every single day we know that you've been giving out so much back to the society. What kind of drives you? I know that you're like this tennis ball, harder we are hit, the more you bounce, but still, you are doing a lot towards the charitable causes. So what has been your driving factor to get up and get ready every single day and reach out to such great foundations and organizations?
As I told you right in the beginning, but aren't we talking to Sameer first? Sameer Soni?
Ma'am, we have an order of speakers and we speak to everybody.
Okay. Yeah, so you just want to know what makes me want to go, right? What makes me click? What makes me tick? Well, actually, let me tell you, I already told you that before. My whole world revolves around love. Really, it does. And so when when somebody says that even at this age or whatever, on the lighter side, I love to say that actually it's at this age that I've really started living. And I think that is because of the love that comes back to you. I think when you give love unabashedly and just keep on giving, I think it has to come back sometime. And how long will somebody resist that love if you give it with complete ear? And even though it may sound very simplistic, I really do believe that if you can really love with unconditionally, without expecting anything in return, it really works out. And for me, I've had so many different. I just speak about one person now. A very dear friend of ours lost their daughter. Not to COVID. She had cancer and she passed on. But I speak to the friend, the mother of this sad and sadder and sadder, said, and she says, will I ever be able to get over this? I said, no, you will not be able to get over it. But God will give you the strength to cope with it, because you can't get over certain things that you've lost in your life. It could be anything. It could be, just the fact that you couldn't go out today, or you didn't have a party to lose. So many things that it's been taken away. But the COVID and this entire pandemic is a moment. For me, every moment is a moment for learning, and it's very, very important for me to be able to take lessons, but you have to be a good receptacle, and you've got to be able to glean the lesson from whatever is being shown to you. So when this lady, this friend of mine, keeps talking to me in the morning, and I keep telling her that, look, it's never gonna be okay. If you've lost something, it will, of course it matters. What I mean is learn to cope with it. Because if you learn to accept the fact that that person is never ever going to come back to you, but life has to carry on. And if life has to carry on, then you have to be stronger and more open to the fact that God will give you the strengths to cope with it. My entire belief is that, if God has brought you to it, he will see you through it. And he's seen me through many, like he's seen, like many of our panelists. And the takeaways from this whole thing, as you'll say, from this whole thing, is the fact that I have learned definitely that, do we really need so much in life? Do we really need all the things that people are, that we craved for? I don't crave. I don't really have any moha for this, that, or the other. Yes, some rubbish stuff. I'm a junk eater, and I'm not a person who wants too much in life, but I want everything when I'm on stage. I want the audience with me, and I'm a complete live person. Okay, live. I can't deal with 5 hours or 6 hours of not doing anything. So when God has brought you to that situation, for sure he's going to see you through it. And now people like in the entertainment business, people like Samir and the entire film fraternity or television or stage people like us, look at all the technicians who are all daily wage earners. If I don't have a show, I don't make crores or lakhs and lakhs of money per show, but my musicians and my technicians, they all need that money. They all need that payment for that one show. But we've all lost out on that. So you don't throw your hands up in the air and say, okay, if you promise to work towards it, especially, I really believe in it, Sangeeta, so strongly. And he's seen me through so much. And I really, really feel from deep within for all these people who have absolutely nothing. I haven't earned any money, like Samir hasn't earned any money. We don't earn money. We don't get a salary. At least I don't. I know that Samir doesn't. There's so many people who live in that middle bracket. We don't get that kind of money, but we're happy with whatever we've got. And all the people who work for us, who gives you your tea during the shooting, who gives you the makeup, who does things. So many. For me, it's a person who sets up the microphones, the monitors, this, that, and the other. They have nothing. They have absolutely zilch. So what are we talking about? We're in such a better place. Such a fantastic place. And I think that should bring a smile to everybody's face. Really, that we are in a better place. And if we are in a better place, if God has brought us to it, he will see us through it for sure. He will see us through. And that hope and that faith and that trust that I have in this whole mind over matter has really worked out for me. Really. Can you imagine, Samir, and everybody else on the panel, if there was no pandemic, for every slight little pain, everybody's talking about going to the doctor, this, that. Here, nothing. I'm not even thinking of going to the dentist. I'm not thinking of asking for my, what's happening to my eyes. There's a little stomach problem. You manage. How did we do that? And I really marvel.
I know your net is not very stable today, and we need to, if you could just fix that for us, because it's kind of distorting a lot, ma'am. So we'll just come back to you, yes, because the net has been really, really unstable.
So you didn't hear?
You
didn't hear what I said?
No, we heard you. We heard you.
Kind of, yes, kind of.
Every word.
So, friends, Usha ma'am did say that if God has got you through, He's definitely, definitely going to get you through. So that's amazing.
Oh,
And
and also let go, let God. Let
Oh,
go, let God.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. And with that, I'll bring in Hema ji, ma'am.
That
You're very,
doesn't mean you just sit do nothing. You've got to work towards.
you're very programmed, sweetheart. It has been a bug time hit, and it's kind of much in demand. So, how do you think that this program actually helps you, staying happy at all times?
Oh, this program is called Sweetheart, but that it doesn't, it that if you want people to stay happy for long, then they have to pay attention to Sweetheart. Now, what is the Sweetheart all about? It is because India is heading to be the diabetic capital, with more than 80 million of our population being very sweet, more than what is required. And though it is said again and again that COVID-19 will really hit the elderly, but it's also hitting the younger population in our country because of what we call the diabetes attached to a person, which makes the condition of COVID-19 much more serious. So, what we are telling people is sweet disease today, the heart disease tomorrow. So, sweetheart, take care of it right now so you will stay happy for times. So that is the message that we're trying to give with Sweetheart, because diabetes is, again, it's a household word, because one person in the house or one person close to you, known to you, it is diabetes to hota hi hota hai. It's like that. But the implications of that, especially at 20, 22, 25 years, the woman becomes pregnant, and that's the first time her sugars spike up. And by 28, she's a full-blown diabetic. That's something it's not acceptable. And when we say, hey, we lost him because of COVID-19, he was just 52. But what about so many mothers who are lost at 20, 22, 25? That is also a preventable death. Okay, but we haven't probably raised our noise levels and paid enough attention to that. So preventive care, what we say, in pregnancy, in the youth when they are. So Sweetheart, when you design your lifestyle around that and pay attention to your diet and exercises, you will remain not so sweet in terms of your sugar measures, but you will remain heart healthy for a long, long time to come. So that is what Sweetheart is all about. It's one way of our advocacy campaign to make things click in people's mind that the long-term consequences of what you have today, you really have to pay attention, because the Indian mindset is, we will cross the bridge when it comes. That's the kind. So only when they're very ill, they will land up at our doorstep, when we also feel helpless. So preventive care, because COVID-19 is all about prevention. Stay home, distance yourself, wash your hands, cough etiquette, all these are about prevention. So preventive health is now getting into people's minds, and it should get in not only for the infection control, but for many, many things. So Sweetheart.
And you are a sweetheart, I must say. Of course, not very sweet, but the sweetheart. And I can see Samir sir all smiling, and he was kind of nodding to everything the Hema ma'am was talking to us about. So Samir sir, yes, of course. From you, I mean, all of us really know that you are like this one popular personality on social media. And of late, you've also been spreading so much of your positivity, discussing mental health issues like depression and loneliness. And we are seeing this so much prevalent in the film industry, for a matter of fact. So, and I also know about this recent poem of yours, which is titled "Today." It's actually brimming with positivity and hope, and there would be like this light of dawn after the dark night. So we would actually want to know the source of your boundless positivity, and would also request you to recite that short poem for all our viewers out there.
Okay, I'm embarrassed about the poem because I'm not much of a writer. I just scribbled something and I posted it, and people seem to like it. But okay, I will do that. As far as my positivity is concerned, I think it's just that's just the way I was born, which is not to say that I'm not sad or if I'm jumping with joy all the time. I don't have half the enthusiasm that Shobhaji has. I'm just a regular guy. But I always see what I can learn from what's happening. That's what's important to me. Okay. So if something bad is happening, then my logic is why and what can I do? All right. It's happening bad. So that's the way it is. So that's my mindset always, is to learn. What can I learn? I'm a big believer in God. So I always feel that when something happens, which is not what you thought would be, what is God trying to communicate to us? Okay. It might sound lame to a lot of people, but that's what my positivity is, because you have to believe in something. If you have no belief system, you don't believe anything, and the world does a 360 in front of you, you're lost. Suddenly your bank balance doesn't matter. Suddenly your cars doesn't matter. Suddenly a house in Hawaii doesn't matter. Then what is it that you have to hold on to? And I think this pandemic that's happened might have come at a very interesting point. And I'm hoping that it's going to change everyone's life in a way that should have happened a long time ago. And this is sort of course correction. I'm a firm believer, everybody talks about success, right? I've talked about it. And, your parents tell children, come first in class, you got to be the healthiest, you got to do this. No one seems to focus on happiness, because it is always assumed that success means happiness, which we all know is not true. Otherwise, the richest of the rich and the most successful people, they'll be blissful, and they're not, right? So the focus has to shift, and which is good. And that's what Corona has really done. If you think about it, it's blocked the external world away from you and has forced you to focus on things like yourself, right? Some of us are addicted to work, right? But now the work's taken away. In the end, you have to face up to who are you? What makes you happy? And obviously the family members that are living around. And you have to focus on that, because somebody said that the definition of happiness is what you expect from life and what you get from life, right? If everyone screams, shouts, and say, oh, you've got to be happy, you've got to be this, you've got to be that, and suddenly there's one person who's not feeling that way, and maybe he's a sensitive person, he's going to say there's something wrong with me. And then he's going to put out a mask and pretend to be what everyone expects him to be. And that's where the problems arise, because there is a problem which he feels is that he's the only one having it, because everyone around him is shouting, saying all's good. So he says, okay, I will not tell this to anyone. I will have this front, and deep down I'm dying. All right. So my message to a lot of people would be, life is difficult. Don't kid yourself on that. This time is difficult. Don't kid yourself on it. You're feeling low, you don't want to get out of your bed. It's okay. This will happen to you, but also know this shall pass. I hate the word mental health. I call it mental fitness. Okay, because society for the longest time, and this is probably more of a Western thought that's taken over the Indian thought. Traditionally, Indians, we were more inward looking, right? Now suddenly says, oh, you got to be this, you got to be that, you got to be that. And now what, interestingly enough, what it's done is all those things that you were sold that are good for you, make you happy, that you should do, they all have been taken away. Now what? And I hope from this experience, it takes us to a point in which in class, in school, the question that has to be taught is to discover yourself. What is it that makes you happy? Usha ji and I have been fortunate, we found a true calling in creativity. Ours is probably the most difficult profession, simply because of its unpredictability. And you're seeing that from the cases that are happening. One day it's a high, one day it's a low. They feel that you're supposed to look a certain way and behave a certain way. So nobody talks about how they're feeling. I mean, it's like I was saying in another program, if somebody's feeling low, they might have a drink, and that's okay. If you're feeling low, you might have some drug. And in the high society, they'll be like, okay. God forbid, if you say, I'm going to see a psychiatrist, he says, oh, is there something wrong with you? I mean, it's ridiculous. If you're physically not feeling well, you go to a gym, you talk to a physiotherapist, they guide you. You can go see a psychologist. So it is especially, and also we are not equal. There are people who are far more prone to pressures and will become, because they're more sensitive people. They're more prone to absorbing negativity. For me, how I do it, I don't let any negative thing come around me. No, I do not have the time. I don't have the energy to hear anything negative. Tell me, what can I do to help you out? Including if it's my family. If they're saying negative, then I don't want to hear about it. That's okay. Especially who did what, where, when, that's negative. The point is what can we do? And to me, therefore, cut me off and I'm going too long. I might ramble. I'm not a very outgoing guy. So honestly, Corona hasn't helped, affected me too much. I'm a homebody. I like reading or spending time on my own. And I love my job, which I miss a lot. Then I work out. So it's given you time to think a lot of things, that what is your priority? What do you really want? Is it conditioning to separate yourself from who you are and the conditioning? That's the important thing. And mental health, fitness is what I call. I think it's paramount. Anyone who's listening, guys, you're feeling sad. I go through anxiety. Before I was coming on this interview or this webinar, I was getting anxiety attack because I didn't know how to use this damn thing. I mean, I was like, okay, where does the wire go? And okay, how will they hear me? Yeah, it's just mayhem. So that's life. When things don't happen to you, they're not supposed to, not all the time. And you should know that. And you should be ready for that. So even like I said, God may or may not exist. I choose to believe in him because that keeps me anchored. Now, I've gone a bit, I'll read out the poem. I wrote a poem especially for you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not a poet. Because yesterday they said that the poem I posted is very nice. Can you read it out? So I was sitting at home in our bed at night and like, okay, let me see what I can think of. So I just wrote down my thoughts, which kind of tie up with what we're discussing. And I hope you like it or can relate to. So it goes, it's called A Better Me. Okay. So it goes like, questions are many, answers too few. The world is changing, and so must you. Or are you waiting for things to be the way they always were for you and for me? Time shall pass, no matter what, with a smile, with a whimper, or whatever you got. Just hold on to what you always knew. He who throws you into deep sea waters will also be the one to rescue you. You may have to swim a lot harder than you ever knew, but that was his plan to make you a better you.
Wow, Sumi, that was amazing. And surely, your words of inspiration, all of us somewhere are going to be better us. We promise you that at least. So
no, it's about discovering ourselves, and at a young age, like my daughter is 7 years old. I never put pressure on her to be successful. I mean, I say, look, do what makes you happy. That's what's important. Success, who decides it? Who says having more bank balance is a person who's more successful? Who decides that? We come from the Vedic and things, and they were sages. People be prayed to Mahatma Gandhi. What wealth did he have? So this Western culture's taken over so much that there is no centeredness. I want this, I want that, that, I don't. What if I don't have that? Which is, I'm kind of repeating and rambling. You can cut me off now.
So, well, friends, you just heard that. I mean, this is simply amazing. Better you, and that's what we need to all together do, and let nothing impermanent, actually damage us permanently. this time is very, very impermanent, very, very temporary for all of us. And with that, of course, let me bring in the Chief Happiness Officer who's here with us. And, Puneet sir, back to you into the conversation. Let me bring you into the conversation. Of course, my question. How do we, of course, we just heard Samir sir talking all about it. Acceptance is very important of everything happening around us, but still, we take a lot of inspiration from things around us. I guess with things now, we being disconnected with everything around us, we look inward. So how do we continue to keep self-motivating ourselves in these very, very tough and uncertain times?
So first thing is to understand, and these are the right times to understand, because these times have brought us to a point where we are saying what all we understood the way the world was is not now. Change is the rule. Change is not constant. Change is the rule of life. Change is the rule of existence. So we need to first of all accept. Now, acceptance is the first primary fundamental block of happiness. So we don't say that, if this happens, I will be happy. If this does not happen, I will be happy. So the absence and presence of something which will lead to your state of happiness is now gone completely. So what we are saying is conditional happiness will give you nothing, because we have taken to understand that I will earn certain amount and I'll be contented in my life. I'll earn some name, fame, assets, money, power, status, and I'll be happy. I'll be contented. Now, this is what has been the wiring which has been made into our education. This is how we have built our structure. We are taught early in the age that you need to lean towards working hard. You need to sacrifice to achieve something. So whole of the life, what we understand is hard work, sacrifice. We need to, do certain things, make certain buckets for ourselves, and then claim that I have done my bit. I am satisfied. I am fulfilled. I can show this to my family. I can show this to my friends. I can show this to my colleague. I can show this to my neighborhood or to the society or to the country or to the world. Now, this is what the conditional happiness is. Now, it gives you nothing. What gives you everything is what is called as real happiness. So thus, I say conditional happiness gives nothing. Real happiness needs nothing. So here's the concept. Are you connected with your own self? Now, if I ask viewers now this question, are you connected with your own inner self? So we are talking about happiness as connecting yourself with your own self as the first point. Leaving the exteriorities of the life, leaning away from yourself and walking into your own self, connecting yourself with your own self. Are you able to understand your own self? There are certain basic questions, like these are bigger questions. Who are you? Now, this is a very big question. But first of all, you must be able to understand. Are you able to understand yourself? Are you able to understand what you are thinking, what you are feeling, what you are experiencing, what you are speaking? Most of the time, people are speaking for the sake of being trendy, speaking for the sake of getting into that bracket. But happiness is when you understand clearly to your heart, to your soul, absolutely and very clearly that what are you doing? As simple as that. Are you aware? Even if you are picking up a pen and writing, are you aware what you are writing? If you are watching a television, are you aware that what you are watching? This is very simple things. Happiness is built by this. I have spent about last 5 years researching about happiness, understanding about happiness. Certain thing happened in my life. I had a huge bout of stress. I had about 18 years of corporate experience. And in that corporate experience, I took to understand more stress, and more stress. And one fine day, I thought to harmonize my thinking with my speaking and my doing. And it's a beautiful saying by the father of the nation that happiness is when you have harmony in your thinking, in your speaking and doing. So in my work, I was completely disharmonized. I was thinking something else, speaking something else, doing something else. Now, most of the people are in this bracket. So first is to understand how much close and how much genuine are you with your own self. So here, what we say, happiness is a practice. Now, people say that, you do certain things and that will make you happy. Now, this could be reading a book, going out, being with your friends, being with some vacations, getting awards, getting rewards, getting incentives, getting appreciations, getting so many things. Now, whenever you are speaking about anything which is external to you, that's we call it as conditional happiness, and it gives you nothing at all. What is real happiness? Real happiness is when you're speaking and when you're seeing your own dimension, your own self. It is about giving. It is about practicing. So we call it happiness as practice. Now, what are these practices? These are very, very simple practices. Number one is how you are thinking. Now, if I ask people to write 2 lines, just now. If you have something to scribble, maybe something to punch on your phone, write. How are you thinking? Not what are you thinking, how are you thinking? Now that's the basic thing. Are you thinking happily? Are you thinking positively? Are you thinking and being aware of that? So that's very simple thing. Now, whenever you ask, how are you? Now, what is the usual response of the people? I don't have to tell that. You would know for yourself. Now, when you change your thinking and lean away from any negativity, anything which is disempowering you, anything which is weakening you, towards a thing which empowers you, towards a thing which brings clarity to you, it will lean towards happiness. It will lean towards hope, belief. Now, this is what is practice. This is a matter of practice. Some people, because of their upbringing, because of their culture, because of their family values, may be ahead in this journey. So to them, happiness will come naturally. Their thinking is all happy. So to them, if I say, think happily, walk happily, speak happily, sit happily, work happily, sleep happily, are you able to do that? Now, this is how life is formed. Now, you will do certain work and then you will break into certain work which will create joy for you. This is not happiness. You need to be happy each and every time, each and every part of your work. Now, this is called as by ourselves. This is called as happinessific temperament, like you have scientific temperament. Now, I must bring this very importantly. In 1940s, the culture of India was marked by dogmas, marked by superstition. The government, the administration then thought to bring scientific temperament, and there was a huge work done. In 2020, when we are talking about rebooting, we are talking about correction, we are talking about stopping certain things which did not work for us and building a new world post-COVID. Can we think about happinessific temperament? Can we think about thinking happily? Can we think about speaking happily? Can we think about doing whatever you are doing happily? Yes, we can. It's absolutely possible. So for last 5 years, we have built a community called as Happier Beings. We thought enough of this bullshit being human and human beings. Nothing has worked out. People have not understood. I remember, I must quote this. A famous singer, he was asked when he was in his school at his childhood age, his mother used to tell him that being happy in life is important. So when he walked into the school, teacher asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up? He didn't say that I want to, earn name, fame, money. I want to be engineer, doctor. He just said, I want to be happy. The teacher said, hey, you not understood the assignment. Now this boy said, no, ma'am, you have not understood the life.
Lovely.
And he's a famous singer. He went on to become a famous singer. So that's what I'm talking. Now, if you see Delhi government, from 1st till 4th have brought signs of happiness in classroom. Melania Trump's in the visit in February walked to the school, spent 1 hour. Now, this is when we came to know, when people came to know, yeah, you can study happiness, you can teach happiness. And that's a fact. Research says you can learn happiness at any age. Now, there are universities who are bringing happiness course. Now in India, if I talk about IIT Kharagpur has a happiness course running for last 3-4 years. In Bombay, there are colleges who are starting happiness course. In Delhi North Campus, there's one college who is starting happiness course. Father of positive psychology, Martin Seligman, he is in Pennsylvania University. There's a full graduation course on happiness. Yale University's Histories, largest subscribed course is course on happiness. And yet you see in this time, all of us are talking about what? Mental well-being. Samir pointed out so beautifully, mental health. And he had written such nice poem, which depicts about thinking happily, so simplistically. He says that he is not telling her daughter to become XYZ. Now that's one point we need to imbibe in our system of upbringing children. So we have made modules. Now we have made modules. So Samir, thank you so much that you have brought up this concept of getting into westernized. You are forgetting about Vedas. I, for myself, did not knew who is Maitri. Somebody asked me who is Maitri. I said one friend of mine. Somebody said who is Gargi? I said it's a college in Delhi. But these are Vidushis who have made Vedas. I don't know how many people know this. Fortunately, we have come up and made this happier beings. Where is a group of people who have researched Vedas? Do you know Atharved is all to do with human resource management? I have one of my colleagues, fortunately, she is sister of one close friend of mine who has studied with me. She has done 8 years of research on Atharved for human resource management. And she says that her purpose is to bring up the concept of human resource management based on goodness of Vedas. Now, if I speak about a concept called Anandam Ve Brahmam, we are speaking about Anand, we are not speaking about happiness. We are speaking about bliss, the highest form of happiness. Now, which says that, to discover yourself is happiness. That's all. Anandam Ve Brahmam is discover yourself is happiness. Now, these are 10,000 years ago. People have said this, but we don't know. Now we are bringing the goodness of Vedas and bringing a structured, systematic training modules for students, for teachers in education segment, for employees, for leaders in corporates, for home, for women, for senior citizen, to imbibe the goodness of Vedas, imbibe the science from that, and put into certain doable practices, which you can do in your daily life when you are working, and be more fulfilled and be more contented in yourself. And the whole concept is based on our goodness of Vedas. So fortunately, we have people, and fortunately, something happened with us and we thought to walk along and leave this masking thing and just do what you believe in. Just do what you are clear. Just understand things very clearly. Spend time and understand, first of all, what you are doing. So these are simple things which we have made, and on hashtag happier beings, to put out human and put happier, hashtag happier beings. If you search on Google, you will be able to see what we are doing. So we have made platforms on social media, Facebook page, happier beings, LinkedIn page, happier beings, Instagram, happier beings, Twitter, happier beings, for people to connect. We have made classes for people to come on some easy platforms like WhatsApp or Telegram, connect and understand about happiness, speak about happiness. So when I speak to you now, I have about 180 human resource professionals from US, from Europe, from Middle East, from Southeast, from India coming together. And what we are discussing, quotes on happiness, insights on happiness, practices on happiness, articles on happiness, research on happiness, best practices on happiness for professional side. So we call it professional happiness. And these are all CHROs, heads of human resource functions, but with culture, but with people function, but with engagement, not with the other functions. Not when we are talking today, we are talking about mental well-being. We are talking about happiness. I am so happy that we are having these times, and what has brought this virus. Thanks to virus, we are correcting in many ways. So I leave this at this note, and I thank you so much, One Asia, Sangeeta, and the panelists for spending time and speaking about happiness. I hope that this movement which we are trying to draw, to escalate and make India go back to where India was on Anand, people understand. Now, if I say West, like Samir's logic, UN has put out what is called as World's Happiness Index, 28th of March,
Yes.
World Happiness Day. They come out with this index. Out of 156 countries, India is like 130 beyond that. But you know, this is not what Indian culture is. We are spiritually very advanced. We are socially much connected. We are people who want to, you know, be with others. Like we want to hug our family members. So we are all already happy people. So we need to just go back to our roots. We need to just understand what we are doing, have proud and pride in ourselves. And that's very much there in system. I can see the way India has changed. World is looking India differently. People having a sense of confidence and exuberance. Now is the time to correct. COVID is given right opportunity to think. Everybody is thinking, and they are thinking about one thing. If you talk about corporates, if you talk about families, if you talk about individual well-being, no one is talking about money, fame, power, success, nothing. Well-being. We talk about well-being. So I hope that this movement brings much more people, and we talk about being happy in life. That's more important. Thank you so much.
Sangeeta, can I ask one question?
Speaking about it. And yes, I know, Samir sir, you want to get into the conversation. Please.
I want question.
Tell me, sir. Yes, please, sir.
Yeah, I want to ask Puneet a question, which is what he was saying. I totally agree with him. I'm concerned and I'm scared that we talk about the Vedas and the ancient Indian practices and spirituality. And I'm all for that being introduced in schools. My fear is this whole communal angle that's given. People have problems with even practicing yoga, which really doesn't have much to do with religion. I mean, how do we go about that? I mean, it's, you know, we're talking about happiness regardless who you are. But the moment you say you teaching Vedas, some people say, oh, that's a religious thing. So I hope somebody can address that and carry on a little bit.
Yeah, of course, Samir sir, thank you so much. So, you know, since you have brought this topic, we have done the work on that side. So we call it science of happiness. So when I speak about science of happiness. When I speak about enhancing your productivity, enhancing your life experience, so that you end up having a more richer, empowered and fulfilled life. We keep Vedas behind. As of now, Vedas are like some spiritual thing. Actually, it's not a spiritual thing. Now, today, if I say, here is thing which is very important. When I speak about governments, now UAE has a Ministry of Happiness. Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, has just shifted her 1920 budget from GDP to well-being. government of Madhya Pradesh has a department of happiness. Can our government now look at happiness?
Puneet,
Yes, and government are doing it. Like Delhi government is speaking about signs of happiness in their own
Puneet ji,
classrooms.
isn't it?
So the education, yes, Samir sir, you might be aware the education policy hasn't been updated. There is a panel which has been formed, and recently the ministry has asked recommendations from people. So can signs of happiness, as simple as that, nothing to speak about Vedas as Vedas, but the goodness which has come from him. We are taking out certain practices and we are calling that in a name which is acceptable to people, which can be acceptable to society.
Puneet, isn't it ironical that what is truly Indian, we need a Western definition for that to incorporate that into our own life, which is just part of our DNA. But we can't say it because it might be given a different twist. So we have to, take a word from the Western. But I'm glad you're doing it. As long as it's done and people listen to it, I'm very grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So Samir sir, I must say with the.
I'll definitely come back to you. I need to bring in our other speakers. I'm so sorry I'm interrupting, of course, because of paucity of time, and that is what about happiness is. It's so vast in itself that we want to continue deliberating on it. So let me bring in Archana ma'am into we've got 4 more speakers on the panel to talk to us. So Archana ma'am, of course, from you, now that so much has been said and talked on happiness, and as you know that yes, everybody's been talking about this great mental well-being, and people actually kind of putting it now into perspective. So need to understand that how do
Can you get me a phone charger?
More about the same. Samir, could you please have your mic on mute, please?
Thank you for this opportunity, Sangeeta and team, AsiaOne team. And yes, when we say mental health, our mind directly relates to mental illness, isn't it? So when we talk about mental health or mental fitness, we have to see both sides of the coin. So we have to talk about good mental health and poor mental health, and how to identify it and how to immediately seek help. That's where we are losing the touch. So there is a bridge between understanding the good and the poorness. So it is not that every child who is born has a poor mental health, isn't it? It's a transition that happens from good to poor. So the transition will happen from poor to good. So one has to understand that it is a transition, and which can be controlled by us. So you should understand that brain is also a part of the body which needs care and nurturing, isn't it? Just like eyes, just like any other organ, it's also an organ which needs care and nurturing. So a good mental health is absolutely necessary for everybody to bounce back from any adversity or any uncertainty. So I would like to understand that, I would like to state that it is a balance, it's the balance of the state of mind, of emotions and behavior, correct? So I want this, so I act this way. So I need this, I act this way. So you need to have a balance to have this good mental health or good mental fitness. So how do you bring it about? So I want to put it to audience. So understand that COVID is this period of lockdown, or this period of being at home, or is to understand yourself and to have a relationship with yourself. Okay, have a relationship with yourself and inner self. So I would say that we have to smile every day in the morning. So we shouldn't forget. And because we are in lockdown, we can't have food at some wrong time and sleep at 10:30 p.m., 11 p.m. and wake up around 9 a.m. I know maybe 9 a.m. could be like, what is this? Sounds normal. No, but it isn't. Okay, so we have to have a strict routine of our food having a nutritious food at the right time, have quality sleep. When I mean quality sleep, it's about having the right pillow, right bed. Some may not need pillow or even bed. They are fine with the flow, but it's about you, what you need for that quality sleep. Okay, so it differs from person to person. So the quality of sleep and food is absolutely necessary, and smiling every day is absolutely necessary. And do we all have a gratitude book? Because every day is a blessed day for us, isn't it? So every day is a blessing in disguise. How much do we get from the nature? How much does the world gives us, and how much of happiness that we are spreading around even now? So this is, so have a gratitude note to believe that people are doing for us, nature is doing. Because where does the poor mental health comes, how does the transition happens? When you start thinking is nothing is happening to me, everything happening around me is bad. No. So have a note to check that there are people thinking about you, smiling for you, and there are things. I'm talking even about the plants. There is a garden, flowers and plants looking for you, for nurture from you, isn't it? So, and we always believe that you have to raise the self confidence and self esteem right from young. Okay, so it is like that. No, I can't do this. No, you are bad. No, you are very bad at it. No, why are you doing this? No, you're no. Why do we always have a tag? Don't tag people, right? Why do you tag? Don't tag. So have a good self-esteem and self-confidence right from young, and teach your younger one that. Teach the very young. So it's important. Oh, she thinks too smart of it. No, no, it's not about too smart. It's about having the right self-esteem, isn't it? So right self-esteem is, I mean, having a good self-esteem is very important, because it's at times of adversity you can really bounce back. So a good mental health is all about that. Ability to learn, change, adapt, manage, and smile. Okay, so it's about, not about, it doesn't mean that people with good mental fitness is always blessed with happiness. They all have challenges, but they all have the power to balance the state of mind, isn't it? They have the power to uh, unlearn, more than learning. It's about unlearning few things and bringing the new in, isn't it? So it's about that. So I would like to take a note on that, and about having silence. So how many of us go silent every day and talk to ourselves, close our eyes, and be with ourselves every day? So it is very important, especially to bounce back in this adversity. It is important to smile every day, have a very good self-confidence, a self-esteem, and have the key word, silence is gold. So for some people, they say, why this guy is talking so less, and why this lady is talking more? So it depends on silence. Silence is measurable according to them. Okay, so you understand what your silence, how many minutes you can go on silence for a day. So speak to yourself, and with a good positivity will flow into you, I'll tell you. Okay, so, and I always say that physical health is directly related to mental health. Please take care of your physical health, and never do self-sabotage. So let me put it in a simple terms. uh, no, 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 I will do this tomorrow. Even at the simple task, never do a self-destroying activity, like I will do this tomorrow. No, no, I can't do this. Wow, this is really big, how will I do this? When a child says that she is trying to start the self-sabotage right young, please stop there, stop that right away. Okay, so never never encourage any kind of self-sabotage right from young. And if you're doing it, no, please, that's where everything starts. So please, so don't do that. And always keep yourself engaged, because I believe, I'll tell you from my personal experience, I will have my wall painted white, and have my photos keep changing, or the pictures keep changing, or sometimes I will not have pictures at all. It reflects my mind, right? So it reflects my mind, and when I see the wall, I draw my own picture, I draw my dreams. Okay, I don't need paper. I don't need a physical thing. I need my mind to do that. So this is a very good step. I'm not saying that mine is a very good step, but I'm saying to have to reflect your mind, a positive mindset anywhere without a physical thing is a very good aspect. So we need to do that. And so people who I'm going to talk about signs of poor mental health, people who cannot sleep or sad or quiet, because I think it's a need of the heart that if some people are having difficulty, having real extreme mood swings, please seek help, talk to people, take a break. So if that day, if you've been working harder more than 12 hours, 13 hours, and it's breaking, please close your laptop. Because this period has taught that we should not hurry ourselves, isn't it? There is nothing to hurry. Everything is gone on hold. It's because we shouldn't hurry. Because to prove that we are all wrong, to hurry in things, whatever we have been doing. So please do not hurry and go in a self-paced manner. If you feel very tired, please close the laptop, go for sleep. Okay? So world will wait for you. The good deed will come to you because that belongs to you, because God has given that to you for the world. Because you have to, because I am speaking, because I am the medium, I have to tell this to world. The God has destined us, all of us, to do this today, isn't it? So our chance or our thing will come to us. But please don't hurry and pressure yourself. So please seek help and please talk to people. I see people changing WhatsApp status, Facebook status, Insta status, but their inner status hasn't changed. So I think to change the inner status, you need to talk to people. You need to talk to the trusted one, whom you trust. And so this is from this part. And I have to tell from the other side also. If you feel that you have not been appreciating people around you, or if you feel that you're not showing certain love, like I love you, mom, I love you, even your husband, wife, I love you, or daughter, you're doing so well, and please do that. So that will not put them down. That will not give the transit from good health to poor health. I'm talking about mental transition. Okay, so it will keep them on board. Okay, that oh yeah, I have people around me, and when people shower the same, so a lot of happiness in giving. So please give people, please give a lot of things. I'm talking about give a lot of optimism, positivity, love, smile, appreciation, happiness, whatever you call those good godly ones. Please give that, and that's my key note for it for today.
Thank you, Archana ma'am. Thank you so much. Wow. So keep observing that silence. It is very important. Keep looking inward, keep listening to inward. Make sure that you're appreciating and love and smile more often, more frequently, and as much as you can, isn't it? And let me bring on Nisha ma'am. Nisha ma'am, we just heard Archana ma'am talking about, that your young ones around at home. It's very, very important how we also reciprocate and respond to them. So need to understand from you that, you deal with the younger community, and, how do you kind of inculcate this whole idea of being positive, thinking right, feeling happy? Rather, I would say it's more important to feel more joyful, because happiness, of course, is associated with so much, but being joy is actually the state of your mind. So, ma'am, what do you do, to really cater it all to our younger community out there?
Thank you, Sangeeta. And it's been really interesting to hear everybody's perspectives. And it does scare me as well that am I not really as worried as I should be? Honestly speaking, these last 4 months haven't really been painful for me or for the people that we work around with at all. Now, I don't know what could be the reason, but now while I introspect and I try to see, it could be because I think the education community in the last 4 months has gone through the real destruction that everybody was talking about in all conferences and webinars, even before this. And for the first time, we were at a threshold where we didn't know what to do with children, how to take this forward. So the last 4 months have only been spent learning, and learning. And somebody, who's as, technically challenged as I am, and I hear that most of us are, and teaching community definitely was, because we did use technology, but use it in a very, very limited sense, and now we're using it to reach out to children. So I also take a few classes. We've taken up a good platform through which we try to reach out to children, which is right from pre-nurseries till the older kids. And to do what you do for a pre-nursery child is very different from what you do with a senior kid. And then also to keep your teaching community engaged, teaching community motivated. So we very consciously, and not only now. So the main crux of what the school has always been built on is that there needs to be no fear, and it needs to be a happy space. So this is like 20 years down the line that I've been into the education system. This is the 5th school I'm taking care of. And it's been very consciously put in that there has to be no fear. But yes, there has to be a lot of learning that should go on, and we will push people for learning at times, and then they do realize the sense and the joy in the whole process. So, it's not just that this pandemic has done something very different. When you're dealing with younger children, it's a very unpredictable world that you're as it is in. You go with a certain plan, it doesn't really work out. Of course, this time it's the degree to which it's brought in the disruption is unimaginable all over the world. And for us, I think it has been a great challenge and a great opportunity to learn. And that can't be anything but a source of happiness for all of us. I think a lot of my teachers are even watching. Such a lot of gratitude that, they all have been so wonderful. We've all come together and we've all only spent our times reading, understanding, figuring out what to do with children. And then, when you sit down and take a class, like in the morning, I took a class with pre-nursery kids, and there was this wonderful teacher, Garima, who was taking the class. Oh, it was so refreshing. It was just so refreshing to see them giggling, smiling. So, a lot of it, what we're talking about mindset, it is not just now. It's always been a mindset. Like what Samir said, I've always believed that I choose to stay away from controversy. I choose to stay away from politics, and I choose to stay away from anything which is negative. I don't want to hear it. There's a first message that, I've always been given to all my teachers, that there is no room for politics out in the school. You could be a fabulous teacher. You're going to be out in case if you even try doing that. So it's a very happy space to work in. And I think it's a lot to do with how we look at it. It's not that, we got to wait for some pandemic to happen to be happy. Definitely, it is a time for a lot of us to introspect. But I guess, just the way we've been brought up, we've seen happiness in the house. We've seen how important it is to be happy. So why would anybody want to waste time and energy into negativity? And when you put it in place and leave no room for negotiation on that, I think people tend to be happy. So I think we've been a very happy lot. And my son is all the way away from in Hungary at the moment. And I'm not panicking at all that, oh my God, he's so far away. It is his break time. He's doing his engineering. He's on a break. And we chat on the FaceTime. There's a way to communicate. There's a way to connect with people. There's so much new that you're learning. And imagine at this stage, if you get a chance to learn something so new, why the hell would anybody want to be unhappy about it? So I think I'm a lot confused also that am I supposed to be unhappy? but the point is, we are very happy. And I think it's just the space that we are in, because nothing has stopped for the education industry. A lot has happened in the last 4 months in the education space. So, we've really worked what we couldn't do in the last 10 years. When I'm saying we, as in not just my school, I'm talking about the entire school community, entire education community at large. That, all of us have really learned how to connect through technology. And doing it with children is extremely difficult. And if we manage that, I think there's a sense of achievement. So I think that only brings in a lot of gratitude and happiness. So I guess that's where I am.
Thank you, Nisha ma'am. Like always, you've infused so much of energy and happiness here. And as very rightly mentioned by you, that yes, I think learning the change around is very, very important. Adapting to it and not really wasting time on thinking how and, but rather, thinking about a lot of solutions. And as you very rightly said, the educational industry itself has seen a paradigm shift in how it is, going out and reaching out to it. The children out there, the stakeholders out there. So that's amazing. Thank you. It was a pleasure listening to you. And with that, I'm going to bring in Dr. Anjali into the conversation. So, ma'am, my question to you is: so much has been now spoken about mental well-being. I need to understand from you and want you to throw some light on the importance of physical well-being. Which kind of somewhere affects our mental well-being at large. So, if you could just talk a little more on that.
Yeah, it was great listening to everybody. I kind of was making notes, medical students always make notes. I was making notes of everybody's, first I started with Usha ji, started with Samir, then I started making notes with Mr. Puneet, and then I stopped at Miss Nisha. I said, okay, now I think it's my time to speak. Happiness is a wonderful thing that we have been talking about, mental happiness, physical happiness. But mental happiness does not come in a diseased body. It's just so sad. If your body is diseased of something, I mean, you could be a cancer survivor, you could be a diabetic, you could be suffering from any ailment. Let's say even a small sprain or a cut, you cannot be happy. It's just so simple. So I think what I would propose to everyone, all the listeners, all the viewers, is please try and get some physical health perspective right now, because COVID has given us one view that we don't need a lot to survive. We don't need so many clothes, we don't need so many shoes, those big cars. The world's become small, it's become very e-world right now. And even I'm doing consults online, and as Dr. Hema had said, prevention, we talk about diabetes, the sweet heart that she was talking about. So the thing is that when we talk about physical health, we have to understand that none of us are really taking care of our physical health as much as we should. I mean, I know everybody's posting videos online of exercising, khane ka videos, but that's social life, that's Instagram and Facebook. What are we doing really in our lives? Are we actually waking up early? Are we actually praying, to whatever religion you are belonging from? Are we connecting ourselves? Are we doing some kind of exercise, be it yoga, be it anything? Are we doing that? Are we worshiping our own body? That's most important. We have to worship our own body. We have to eat the right things. Eating, let's say, a scoop of ice cream is going to give me a lot of happiness for those 5 minutes. Yes, it will. But am I making my body happy by sugar? No. I'm actually destroying my body. So when we talk about happiness of a mind, it has to be accompanied by physical happiness. I have been injured during this lockdown. I've had a fracture, and I can tell you, being on the bed with everything around me, with all the comfort, if I couldn't walk, I wasn't happy. I just wasn't happy. I was trying to sleep on time, but I couldn't because it was so much pain. I was taking horrible painkillers. It was like a nightmare. So, we take health for granted. We really take health for granted. We really go to the doctors when everything is, bilkul sab khatam. We are going to the hospitals for a stenting rather than going for prevention of that heart disease. That's the sad part we have. And when we talk about prevention, it's not only the doctor, it's not the health system, it's also the people. How many people actually would see, pet mein dard, everybody is calling the doctor, sir mein dard, everybody is calling the doctor. But are we asking the doctor, how can I prevent a heart disease? How can I prevent a hypertension? How can I prevent a diabetes in my life? Am I going to change? Am I going to listen to the doctor when the doctor writes a prescription, go diet and exercise? That part is totally forgotten. It's only the medication that we remember to pop in on time. Okay, 10 o'clock dose has to go in, this has to go in. But do we remember the diet and exercise part that the doctor writes about? Well, fortunately, people like me, we work on that aspect more than medications. So for me, I think the biggest message on this live or this panel is that physical health, it's healthy body, healthy mind. So I don't know which comes first, but I think it's the healthy body and then the healthy mind, because as I said, so many injuries and so many ailments, it's very difficult to be happy. And somebody who's going to be happy is probably, they're going to probably ignore all these things. I don't know. But I think my perspective is to be healthy. And for that, I think what everybody should do is, this is one message I want to give to everyone. And this is a very good platform to give. Please fast as much as you can. That's a part of our Vedas. So I'm addressing all the Vedic knowledge here. So fasting for a better life is very important. And I think that's something that can be done by everybody except people who are at insulin. So fasting is one thing we can start with, because fasting will increase the survival, it increases immunity. So, like I am doing, so I have this program on virtual consultations. I have an app, Live NutriFit. We're doing everything virtually. But in my app, there is one button which says gratitude. It's a daily gratitude button. So everybody has to go and complete all the 7 things, and 7th is gratitude. So gratitude is important, but at the same time, so is water, so is sleep, so is good food, and so is exercise. So to sum up everything and not take too much time, I would say let's start by doing few things in a day, daily, to ourselves, and fasting being one good thing, that one good start. It could be an 8-hour fast. It could be 12. It could be 24 hours. Anything that you can do. I'm not saying there's a rule to it. Anything that you can do, we should start fasting. Like the way we stop thinking, that's why we have to stop the stomach from getting any food. We have to let the liver go in a nice what do you call that moment of quiet and rest. So that's my ultimate message. Thank you.
How rightly, Dr. Ranjali, that you said, yes, how are we going to quiet our minds? While we're talking about silence, it's also important that we start to quiet our organs, and specifically our digestive organs, which are very, very important, who are continuously churning, all that we're eating all the time, at times, of course, the junk foods that you made a mention, ice creams and stuff, and of course, everything else. So yes, what you eat is also very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you
Hi, Sangeeta. Just one small request. While the last Miss Arshia will be giving the answer to the next question. Kindly connect to the AsiaOne administrator, Sangeeta, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Arsha ma'am, we'll come to you. I mean, because you've been dealing with kids out there, and from you need to understand the true value of actually staying happy and motivated, and not indulging the rat race of life, which I think all of us have gone through. And there's a different lesson now that needs to go to our kids out there. How do you avoid that more materialistic purview? So how do you teach the kids out there?
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. It was wonderful listening to all of you. Since all of you talked about gratitude, so let me begin here. Thank you, all of you, with all my heart and soul. All my gratitude to all of you for all the wonderful things you all have said. So that's my gratitude for today. And probably a different perspective on this. And I hope that you are with me throughout. So as they say, it's all in the mind. If you want to win life, you have to first win your mind. So similar is the case with our children. First, let me just divide your question into 2 parts, Sangeeta, so it's easy for people to understand. The first being the staying happy and motivated part for children, and the second part being not indulging in the rat race of life. Now, to address the first part, I'd like to tell you that, the value of staying happy and motivated for children. Let me start by telling you like a little story. So here I've become a storyteller, which I go back to my field, which is the education field. And let me know what you think about my story. So there was once a little boy, Albert, who comes home from elementary school with a letter he was told to give his mother. As he hands her the letter, he asks, she read him the content. The mother reads the letter and tells him the school said he's far too intelligent to attend their school, and they are asking for him not to return. His mother, of course, as we all know through background, had the experience of an educator. So she elected to homeschool Albert. And I love this part because I myself have my own homeschool, so I love that. And then he went on to become the greatness that we all are so very proud of. As the story goes, years later, Albert found the letter and read it. And this is what it really said. Dear Mrs. Einstein, we at the board feel Albert Einstein is a distraction and is not mentally equipped to handle school like most of the other children. We are expelling him and he is not to return. Now, whether this story is entirely true or not, but it sure gives us hope and a peep at what positivity can do for a child. I, for one, have always taught children the inside-out approach in life instead of the outside-in approach. Let's not what's around you negatively impact what's inside you, break you or pull you down. Instead, what's inside you, your strength, your positivity, your happiness must shine through. By the way, just a bit of advice. I don't know how many of you seen this. So I'm sure for, especially for Samir ji and people with children around, you all must have watched it. But my advice is watch the animated movie Inside Out. It's fantastic. You all must watch it. Do keep that in mind, not just for your children, but also for yourself. Take a note. Yes, please go ahead. So this inside out approach is taught to the children through the very essential developmental domain, as we call it in our education industry, of social emotional learning, or SEL. It is through this that we teach the children how to recognize and identify their emotions, effectively communicate their emotions, and manage these emotions appropriately. Then we teach them how to be socially aware. We teach them the importance of relationship building and resolving conflict. Now comes the most important part, and I hope all of you take a bit of a note here. We teach them responsible decision making. Now this is for especially all of you who have children, nephews, nieces, grandchildren around. Please take notes. This is the very successful SODAS theory, SODAS. So S is for situation. That's explaining and analyzing a situation. So I'll give you an example while I explain this so it's easy for you and not boring. When Anjali throws a paper ball at her brother Rahul, that's explaining and analyzing a situation. S. O is for options, giving options of the response. Throw the paper ball back, ignore her, or go and run tell mommy. D is for disadvantages. Give them the disadvantages. If you tell mommy, your sister's not going to play with you. A is for advantages. If you ignore her, she may stop doing that and come to you. The last one, SODAS, solution. Ask him to choose a solution and why he has chosen that solution. Ask him to reflect on his experience of the situation and also on the choices he has made. Now, this, please remember, SODAS, SODAS theory. I come to the second part of your question, which was with respect to the children and the rat race of life. With respect to children not indulging in the rat race, I would simply like to point a question at all of you. If we put Sachin Tendulkar in a singing competition with the likes of greatness like Usha ma'am and Lata ji and more, would he stand a chance? Similarly, if I was to put Usha ma'am on the cricket field in a World Cup final, would that be fair? Well, then it's simple, right? The rat race created by man in no way stands testimony of what a child, or in that case, anybody is worth. There will always be someone who does something better than you, is a step ahead of you in some sphere or the other. But children need to be taught that each of them is special and unique with his or her own skills and talent and interests. How then can we judge all the children based on the same parameters, the same system of exams, the same system of tests? And if we do, will this not be unfair to the children? And what impact will it have on their confidence and morale? Let me give you guys a bit of a peep into a fact. 80% of the jobs in the future don't even exist today. What is the point of making our children run in a rat race that will soon become obsolete? So break the boundaries, set them free, let them grow, let them bloom, and outshine in their own skin. In conclusion, I'd just like to say, let us not overrate happiness, guys. In fact, we cannot expect anyone, even children, to always be happy. How is that even possible? What we do need to do is to help children manage their emotions, even the negative ones. If they're crying, how do they manage it? If they're angry, how do they manage it? If they're upset, how do they manage it? If they're jealous, how do they manage it? They need to come out victorious both ways by making the most responsible decisions. I actually wanted to explain about something really important, but I don't know if Sangeeta will give me time. If she allows me in a next round or whatever, then I will, but I will not touch it right now because I'm not going to overshoot the time. It was I call it Arshia's 6 mantras. It's called SPARSH, SPARSH. So S, P, A, and R, and S, and H all have these individual meanings. If she gives me time, I will quickly run you through it in 3 minutes flat, I promise. But if she gives me time, for now, I just end. And that is my bit.
Thank you for giving us the soda theory, and we cannot wait to hear the Sparsh theory. But before that, I'm so happy that we could do this one full round with all our panelists. So thank you. I know it's been a long session for all of us. It's been 2 hours into the discussion, but each one of us have really waited and heard patiently because each one of us had so much to add on. We'll definitely try to take last final words from all of you, though I had rounds of questions, but I don't think we can do that. So I'm going to come back to Usha, ma'am. Ma'am, of course, everything is incomplete if we don't have you to, sing for us and kind of just, get us all completely energized, because music, I think, somewhere kind of makes everybody happy in some or the other way. So, ma'am, if we could have you to do some amazing numbers for all of us, and then I'm going to.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, it's been such an eye opener listening to everybody, because somewhere or the other, we're all connected. Everybody's saying the same thing in different words. And that is what is so important. I think, that song just says it all. Some people look at it, the door is half closed, and some look at it as it's half open. So it's all in the mind, how you look at things, really. And some of the wonderful things that we've learned from this amazing, amazing session. I need to say thank you to you, Sangeeta. You've handled it so beautifully, so marvelously. And right from the word go, everything, whatever I've said, of course I say it very simply, has been said by everybody. And so it proves one thing, that somewhere in our hearts, we're all the same. And we have the same thoughts. Only thing is, we need to channelize it, yeah? So here is a song for all of you, which talks about the way you look at things differently. It's one of my favorite songs, and we hope you enjoy it. आधा खाली मैं बोलूं आधा भरा मैं बोलूं इतना सारा तू बोले सारा जरा मैं बोलूं दिन है तो तू बोले रात की बात तो वही है ना बस वही बात नहीं बात तो है बस ये मेरी बात बस जाने तू ये जाने ना माने तू ये माने ना जाने तू ये जाने ना माने तू ये माने ना I love you all. Thank you for having me. Dying to say. Music brings the world together. तू सोचे ये जिंदगी है ये ना बदलेगी मैं सोच सब बदल जाए ना बदलेगी मैं सोचे तू मेरा कोई और नहीं तू सोचे मैं हूँ तेरा बस तेरा कोई That's right. Actually, I wanted to say to all of you that it doesn't matter really whether you think of the glass being adha full or adha. And I think it's so important to realize that different opinions and different ways of talking about the same things, really. It's so important because you can learn so many things as I've learned today. And I'm absolutely, mesmerized with the fact that the 2 hours have just just gone by like that. But of course, I was dying to sing anyway. So.
Thank you, Usha ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you. And well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed our session as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to all of you. And I'm going to take last and final words from all our speakers before I bid them, bye. And of course, so very quickly, Hema ji, your takings from the session and how do you feel?
Be happy. That's how we feel. And then, very many important points were said about the pluses and minus, the positivity, negativity, everything will be there. But the mindset which lies within our minds over the matter will define how you will handle these situations. That's what I would like to say.
Absolutely.
Everybody has to have the confidence within themselves that we can deal with it. And if we can impart that confidence to the people around us, yes, they can deal with it. I think we would have done our bit in this scenario. Yeah.
Thank you. Surely. Make sure that you try to touch somebody's life in more positive and more optimistic and more beautiful way. With that, Sameer sir, last and final words from you, sir.
Yeah, I'll just, for the present situation, to everyone out there, just hang in there. This will pass. Trust me. And I would like to quote one of my favorite lines that I saw in a film, which says that just keep breathing. You never know what the waves will bring tomorrow. So hang in there and trust in God.
Keep breathing, people. Keep breathing hard. Anjali ma'am.
I think one thing I have to say, I feel so positive and nice after listening to Usha ji. I feel like putting your music on go to the YouTube and finding something, because yeah, you kind of reminded me, when we were kids, I used to listen to you a lot. And it kind of just brought that nostalgia. So, but my message to everyone is sleep well. So there should be like a 7-hour thing. So I call it the law of 7 things. Sleep 7 hours, drink 7 glasses of water, do at least 7 minutes of exercise, think about gratitude, at least to 7 people in a day, or 7 things, So this is like a short form of what I call the law of 7. So if you can follow these things and physically you're happy, and mentally, of course, we have so many guides, and today we have got so much of knowledge to, love ourselves even more. And thank you very much.
Self-love is very, very important, and make sure you're taking those 7 minutes out for it. Nisha ma'am.
Well, it's been such a pleasure to hear everybody. And, like Anjali said, Usha ma'am is such a treat to hear. Her voice is so vivacious, and she still looks so glamorous that, we always remember her to be. So thank you so much for that lovely song. What has worked for me is that as a practicing Buddhist, it says that you got to polish your life every day, and the power lies in your own hands. And I tried and I challenged myself. So the journey with self is so beautiful. And I think that just keeps you going. So maybe if you all try it out, life isn't all that bad. Thank you so much.
Yes, life isn't all that bad. Puneet sir, what is it you have to add to that?
Yeah, so I have 3 things to say, which is plain and simple. And as Dr. Anjali was telling, what comes first, body or mind? So the scripture says, "Pehla sukh nirogi kaya." And yeah, and now Miss Nisha was talking about practicing Buddhist. So Lord Buddha says, mind is everything. You become what you think. So think positively. That's absolutely very important. And third piece is diet. So when we speak about do whatever you are doing with awareness, eat with awareness. When you are eating, don't watch TV. See your food and eat as if you are feeling it. There are foods which can make you happy. You must be able to understand what your food is doing with you. So body, diet, and mind, work on that. You don't have to, go and run here and there for happiness. It's just there with you. Just practice. Happiness is a practice. Thank you.
Thank you. And how rightly said, yes, there are kind of food. I mean, if you're getting into something creative, you have proper food and you know which organ of your body needs what color of food, I guess. So yes, that's so true. And with that, let me speak to Archana ma'am. Yes, your last and final words on the webinar.
Yeah, sure. So I actually wanted to take you all to a mind journey, but since the lack of time, I think I will do it on the next session, which is just 1 minute of mind journey. But I would like to say the empathy, word empathy is very important. So we should always remember that now we say COVID is just not my war, it's world's war, isn't it? So we should also say that when we have goodness, it's not just my good, it's world's good. Okay, when you think from that angle, from that direction, the empathy will flow and you will be really, really positive and happy in your life. Okay, and whatever diversity or adversity comes or changes come, you can adapt, because any change is not just your good, but it's world's good. Okay, so and we have to focus on the journey and not the goal, because we can't run behind the goal, isn't it? We have to go through the journey, like flow like river Ganga. Okay, so and the ultimate result will happen. So thank you so much. This is my mantra for empathy, and take life as a journey, focus on the journey. And third one, importantly, remember these words that I will repeat in Tamil for my Tamil audience there. Okay, trust. The trust you hold will hold you back when you fall. This is a saying from Bhagavad Gita. The trust you hold you back, or will hold you up when you fall. So எந்த நம்பிக்கை நீங்க whatever the எந்த நம்பிக்கையை நீங்க வைத்திருக்கிறீர்களோ அந்த நம்பிக்கை உங்களை விழாமல் காக்கும். That means it will lift you when you fall. So please hold on to the trust of what you are holding on now. It will lift you surely. Okay, so
thank you Archana ma'am. And of course Asha ma'am, we'll end it with yours part. Very quickly we can do that in like a minute or so, and then before we can...
I'll just first like to tell everybody that whatever time you have spent here today and given your 2 bits about whatever you feel, in some way or the other it has impacted someone or the other right out there. So thank you Usha ma'am, thank you Samir ji, thank you Puneet ji, thank you Nisha ji, thank you Archana ji, thank you Sangeeta, we love you, thank you Dr. Anjali, Dr. Hema, thank you all of you. I just would like to say something that I've said from the beginning, is that it all starts with your children. Not just because I'm an educationist or I come from that background, but it all starts there. You want them to be healthy, you want them to be mind fit, you want them to have fit bodies, or you want them to be positive, you want them to be happy, gratitude. It all starts at that age. It just keeps on growing. So concentrate on that. See what all you can do for the children today. Tomorrow, if any adversity, COVID or not COVID, they will be able to ace it. Always remember, tell your children, don't wait for the storm to end. Dance in the rain. That's my mantra.
Thank you, Ashia. Dance in the rain. Wow, I love it. I love the note that you leave us on. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, yes, while we all talk about, the pre-COVID and the post-COVID era, where we talk about new life, but then I must end by saying a new life, but is a new mind. So make sure that, yes, you are going out there with a new mind. And of course, all our speakers out there simply have infused us with so much of joy, so much of energy, so much of positivity. And you can always reach out to their Twitter handles, to their Insta handles, just in case if you have more questions. You can, I'm sure they'll all be happy to connect with everybody who's watching us. So thank you, all of you. Pleasure hearing pleasure hearing all of you. And with that, a big thank you from the AsiaOne family. With that, yes, namaste. This is Sangeeta saying
thank you.
Namaste. Thank you so
Great show,
much.
Sangeeta. Great one. Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.